what is being shared across platforms or with advertisers? Is it your message? Now you can always say, no, messages are end-to-end encrypted, we can't. Then what are you sharing? What exactly did WhatsApp do?
The government now wants to read your chats.
End-to-end encryption means that I have a key which encrypts the message that I'm sending to you, and only you have a key that can decrypt it and vice versa. This is what protects us from the government snooping on our messages. It also protects us from Facebook snooping on our messages.
When it comes to your own personal benefits, you are absolutely okay and you're arm twisting everything and narrating it. When it comes to implementation of the laws of the country, when it comes to abiding with the law of the country, when it comes to protecting citizens, is where you bring in all the reasons and everything, and you use our laws as an escape or as a shield.
All of this was a part of WhatsApp's strategy. Huge newspaper ads saying that even we can't read your data. You can leave India if you don't believe in the Indian constitution.
Every single service, and it's a service, not a product, that we sign up for has a legal right to change its terms and conditions. It is not a government. It has no social obligation to serve us. It can say take it or leave it. If it's a part of our lives, it's because we've made it a part of our life.
Just like there is YouTube Premium, I wish there were a WhatsApp Premium. I'm sick of those ads.
I wouldn't mind, but I can still recognize the fact that most of the internet is free because billions of dollars of advertising allows it to be free.
Big tech companies will exploit your data because that is the nature of the business. They will do it, everybody is doing it.
Consent must be a choice, not a ransom.
Let's discuss solutions, because at the end of the day, this is about people. Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on The Federal. The show is called AI with Sanket, the AI of news, because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. WhatsApp is in the news for the wrong reasons in India yet again. It all started when WhatsApp, the messaging platform, was acquired by Facebook's parent company, Meta. This was done to consolidate business. At that time, a promise was made to the various users of WhatsApp. The promise was, we will not share any information from WhatsApp with any of our other companies, that is Facebook, Instagram, and other products. Then came 2021, where Meta, the parent company of WhatsApp, did exactly what they said they won't. They changed their policy and they said that now we will share some data. And it was a very take it or leave it sort of an arrangement. Accept or else. Obviously, there was a huge outcry. And when that happened, WhatsApp had to launch an entire media blitzkrieg saying that you can opt not to accept this policy. However, this entire matter went to the Competition Commission of India, to the NCLAT, where the WhatsApp, this company, has continuously lost their argument. This argument went to the Supreme Court, where now the Supreme Court is also very, very clearly asking WhatsApp a simple question. Are you leaking or misusing my data? And if yes, and if you are not following the Indian Constitution, then you must leave India. Is this a new Quit India movement against WhatsApp? Yes, this tech giant has become so huge that it is almost akin to what happened in the freedom movement. Is there a Quit India movement against WhatsApp? And how can a simple messaging service restore the trust that people have in this app? So is this some sort of a Quit India movement which has now been initiated by the Supreme Court itself in the sort of statement that has been made by the highest court of law against WhatsApp? Joining me right now is Nikhil Pava, founder and editor of Media Nama, Khushbu Jain, advocate of the Supreme Court, and Pratishtha Arora, CEO of Social and Media Matters. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is an extremely important issue. You guys have been at the forefront of talking about this and making people aware of how data matters and what exactly WhatsApp and its parent company Meta tried to do. Nikhil, I would like to begin with you first. the arguments since 2021. Let's give our viewers a little bit of history and context. In 2021, what exactly did the parent company of WhatsApp do, which created this huge uproar?
Well, they essentially issued a new privacy policy, a new set of terms and conditions, which said that WhatsApp will be able to share metadata of users with the parent company, Facebook, in order to enrich delivery of advertising across meta platforms, which are Facebook and Instagram. And it essentially meant that WhatsApp went back on a policy that they had, that advertising would never happen, or WhatsApp would never enable advertising, number one. And second, that when Facebook bought WhatsApp, the founders of WhatsApp, who in 2021 were no longer with the company, at the time of the acquisition, they also said that advertising will not happen. Since then, WhatsApp for Business is launched, and we do have messaging which is commercial in nature on the WhatsApp platform. Many of us get spammed on a regular basis by businesses trying to reach us. So in that effect, advertising is on the WhatsApp ecosystem now. But the uproar was because of the privacy policy.
Now, Khushbu, see, the thing is, this was a huge subject matter of discussion back then. What Nikhil has mentioned, he's given in a very succinct way what exactly did WhatsApp do. And at that time, I clearly remember huge newspaper advertisements and silent phone calls to bosses in the newsrooms, requesting to perhaps carry their version, and in another way, also arm twisting that we'll take care of the ad revenue if things go our way. All of this was a part of WhatsApp's strategy. Huge newspaper ads saying that even we can't read your data. I don't know what the uproar is about. Some frequently asked questions, a very long list of frequently asked questions that was intended to confuse rather than educate or inform. Khushbu, your impression?
Sanket, you have actually raised a very important point over here, that one side the company talks about that it is so end-to-end encryption that we as a company also cannot read what the chat is between the two entities who are sharing it. So puts across an absolute highest level of privacy where people should be comfortable in utilizing the platform and chat. On the second point, in 2021, the policy which Nikhil was talking about, they updated their own privacy policy, going back from what they stated when they acquired WhatsApp, and they started putting in that this is a take it or leave it policy. What do you mean by take it or leave it? They said that with this policy, users were forced to accept the expanded data sharing with other meta entities to keep using the services. If they don't, then they cannot continue to use services of WhatsApp, which at that time is where the CCI entered into and understood and said that this is something which is an unfair condition created, utilizing your dominance in a manner by becoming one of the digital town square of the country, where you have your all other entities you sharing that data with. So practically one side in the court, they were fighting initially that we are absolutely end-to-end encrypted entity, number one. Number two, they were asking about that when our IT rules were amended to an extent that the first person who is a first person who shares the data, which gets into a law and order situation, is where the law asked that share us the detail of the person who is the first initiator of that message, is where they started saying we can't because we are end-to-end encrypted. They arm twisted and put across the entire news in the country saying that the government now wants to read your chats. On one side. Second side, they started saying, on the same side, they started saying, we can't read, we can't share. It's end-to-end encryption, we can't share the detail. The privacy of our users is paramount, number one. Number two, freedom of speech and expression is also something which is paramount, and these two are your fundamental rights. Now, leaving these two fundamental rights, the second side is where that 2021 privacy policy, where slyly they change and expand everything, and they say that for our advertisement purpose, for our training models, for our internal benefits, we're going to share this data with our internal entities. That means Facebook, Meta's entities, including your Facebook, your Instagram, all other entities, and they're going to utilize it not for just research or for making a user experience better. They're going to utilize it for advertisements and other business purposes of their own. So practically, when it comes to implementation of the country's law, is where you bring in that we can't. You bring in technology related reasons that we can't do it, and you bring in our own fundamental right as an excuse to comply. But when it comes to your business proposition, when it comes to advancement of your own personal benefit, is where you bring in that we are absolutely okay and we are beneficial. And it's a global standard that companies, when it comes to global companies, they do have this sharing model among themselves, and that's the proposition that they started putting in the court. So practically, these are two absolutely stands which you're taking absolutely opposite. And what I can understand in a thin line is, when it comes to your own personal benefits, you are absolutely okay and you're arm twisting everything and narrating it. When it comes to implementation of the laws of the country, when it comes to abiding with the law of the country, when it comes to protecting citizens, is where you bring in all the reasons and everything, and you use our laws as an escape or as a shield.
Okay. Nikhil, you were nodding in disagreement, but I'm going to just come back to you in just a short moment. Let me just bring in Ms. Pratishtha Arora for her opening comments. Ms. Arora, you see, it's not just WhatsApp being wronged or this big giant entity being wronged or wrongly understood or misunderstood by a select few out there creating a mischief against a big corporate giant. No. They have been fined by the CCI, Competition Commission of India. They have been challenged in the NC-LAT. And then they have come to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court has had to use such harsh language saying that you can leave India if you don't believe in the Indian Constitution. So I just want to know from you, as the CEO of Social and Media Matters, it is very important for don't you think, a mass movement of making every single individual aware of WhatsApp or what WhatsApp has tried to do. Everyone uses WhatsApp.
Totally, I agree. And also over here, just to put it very across, that larger population is dependent upon WhatsApp for communication at the moment, right? When it came as a tool, came as a platform, it created a buzz that you can freely just send messages to the people you know. You can stay connected. But as the privacy policy is concerned, I truly understand that the privacy policy has been designed with the global standards, right? Not with the standards that India needs to kind of follow. Also here, we also need to understand that the policies which are framed does not get deep-rooted to every citizen in India, particularly. It is so complex for people to understand these privacy policies that when on ground we talk about these issues, people are not aware about the privacy policies or the policies that the tech platforms in general are also creating and crafting. So it is a matter of informed choice somewhere, right? And the whole idea of opting out policy, which is the second point that I want to make here, is that it is being emphasized that, the message needs to be clear over here on the policies that the big tech companies are kind of framing. That needs to have in inclusions of the people who are using it. What the user wants in terms of policy, that also needs to be noted over here. I think so that is missing. This link is missing over here, designing of privacy policies and how the users are kind of reading these privacy policies. That needs to be decoded right, because this is a missing link. Somebody sitting in Delhi or somebody sitting in any other part of India does not read it. And these are, by default, the privacy policies needs to be adopted, because when you're signing up for any account, the terms and conditions are so written in such a small font that without agreeing to it, you cannot proceed further. So you have to automatically agree because you have to access the platform. So it's somewhere a design point over here that we need to take into consideration what users are demanding over here.
Nikhil, now I want to come back to you. You wanted to come in, and
Yes,
then I'll ask my question.
I have a number of points to make in response, Sanket. So if you'll allow me, because these are responding to some things that the other speakers have said, right? Look, there's a lawsuit in the US that claims that WhatsApp employees, that WhatsApp messages are accessible to the company and their employees are able to access messages. Now, that's a very worrying development, because of the assertion that they've made over the years that WhatsApp messages are end-to-end encrypted. End-to-end encryption means that I have a key which encrypts the message that I'm sending to you, and only you have a key that can decrypt it, and vice versa. Which means that when it goes to WhatsApp servers, WhatsApp itself can't see it. It'll just be like just undecipherable characters to them, because each one is encrypted differently. This is what protects us from the government snooping on our messages. It also protects us from Facebook snooping on our messages. So number one, I think those claims need to be independently audited. And I want to point out that Signal, which is far more secure because it doesn't share metadata, also store metadata as well, has not spoken about this lawsuit till now. So Signal and WhatsApp, while WhatsApp has denied it. So Signal needs to come clean because it is their protocol which WhatsApp has implemented. This entire assumption that WhatsApp leaks private messages, I know that the CGI talked about that, I send a message and my doctor sends me which medicines to buy, and then suddenly I start seeing ads. I think that is likely to not be true. The CGI needs to perhaps clarify whether this is actually happening, because platforms have a lot of data on us that they can understand intent and show us ads that they think we might want, and we attribute it where we think it should be logically attributed. So I would still, until someone does an independent technical audit, and WhatsApp should make its platform available to independent technical audit, I would believe the fact that the messages are end-to-end encrypted, and I don't want that encryption to go. I also don't want, I understand, and I was not happy about the fact that WhatsApp changed its privacy policy to allow metadata to be shared for advertising, which is what this case is about. But I also understand that it's a business imperative. They bought this business for initially $19, eventually $21 billion. They have to monetize it, otherwise it won't function. So, once you start using an app, it doesn't mean that it can't change its terms and conditions for the rest of its existence. It can, and it can give you an option to either take it or leave it.
Nikhil, despite claiming in the beginning that they won't.
They may have.
It was almost like a promise.
To change. Every single service, and it's a service, not a product, that we sign up for has a legal right to change its terms and conditions. It's requirement that it should inform you that it's changing the terms and conditions to give you an option to take it or leave it. So I don't think, and if a business's survival depends on it, if it's monetized, whether it's profitable or it's loss making, and WhatsApp is a business that runs at global scale, if they have to monetize it, I have to respect that. Facebook may have acquired it driven by commercial value, but monetization is a logical outcome. Today, telecom operators sell messages, also allow businesses to message us on their platform. WhatsApp should also be allowed to do the same. I don't see that as a problem. Yes, they went back on their word. The WhatsApp founders had said that advertising will not happen. But the business imperative can change. I have to respect that, right? And then I have a choice. I can go to Telegram, I can go to Signal. I understand that they're a dominant player and it's difficult for us to change, but I still respect the right for a business to change, its policies and give users an option. They're not doing it surreptitiously. They're telling us about it, right? We can't expect this kind of privacy and expect no monetization. It's an unrealistic expectation. It's not sustainable for any platform to operate this. Like this. Facebook was free for many years. Then they started advertising, charging people to promote their messages for reach. X was free for years. Now, to get better reach, you need to buy a
premium membership. I get it.
Correct.
I get it. Over here, Nikhil, I think
let's be realistic about how business works. Yeah?
I agree with you. Having said that, you're saying, initially, do remember the communication in 2021. You would know more than anyone else here.
No,
it was very much take it or leave it. This is the policy. If you don't sign up, then by this date, take it or leave it. And WhatsApp is a part of everyone's life.
I know, but it has no obligation to serve us. It has no social obligation. It is not a government. It has no social obligation to serve us. It can say take it or leave it. If it's a part of our lives, it's because we've made it a part of our lives. Let's be realistic about how businesses have to make money. That's it. Otherwise, they can't afford this kind of infrastructure. WhatsApp won the battle against all other messaging apps because it was able to deliver messages in real time. Real-time messaging is expensive to manage at global scale. They have expenses. They have to pay for them. Who pays for it? Facebook? What if Facebook as a platform starts declining? Let's respect that businesses have a right to make money for their shareholders.
Sure, but also respect
But
the
they
fact
should
that
also-
people have a right to preserve their data.
And yes, so then people can ask WhatsApp to give them the data and they can exit the platform. WhatsApp has no obligation to serve us now.
Okay.
Or anyone
Sure.
else in the world. Obligation is not there. WhatsApp can also make it a paid platform. Then what will you say? If they have to monetize and survive, then what will you say?
Well, I wouldn't mind. Just like there is YouTube
wouldn't
Premium,
mind, but
I
there are
wish there
people-
were a WhatsApp Premium. I'm sick of those ads.
I wouldn't mind, Sanket, I wouldn't mind if the world had no online advertising because it is invasive, it violates privacy, it's all over the place. But I can still recognize the fact that most of the internet is free because billions of dollars of advertising allows it to be free. I don't like ads, but I have to accept the fact that ads are a reality of getting services for free. Why should we just, I mean, their business has no obligation to serve us for free, yeah? Let's be realistic.
Nikhil, nothing comes for free.
Exactly.
Nothing comes for free. Yeah, nothing comes
I know,
for
but
free.
my only contention is, I hope
They're
that
taking your
end-to-end
data-
messages are still end-to-end encrypted, because if that is getting violated, I think WhatsApp should be WhatsApp.
So that is the point. No, what is the nature of the data which is being exchanged? Khushbu as well as Pratishtha. You see, in the Supreme Court, from what I gathered after listening and hearing and reading, is that there is a very strong question on what is being shared across platforms or with advertisers. Is it your message? Now you can always say, no, messages are end-to-end encrypted, we can't. Then what are you sharing? Is it my phone number, my name, my email, what? WhatsApp has access to everything. Khushbu first.
Okay. No, so I am okay. I heard Nikhil and I heard the entire discussion that was going on between both of you. My point over here is very clear that nobody's asking that you cannot change your policy. Nobody's saying that you should not have your business as a forefront, or you can't think of business. You're not in the country for the charity. You're not a government that who would just think about benefits of the people and would not think about their own business and money. That's not the point. The point is, when it comes to sovereignty of the country, when it comes to rights of an individual, that is your fundamental right to privacy guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. And when it comes to the clauses, when it comes to Competition Commission Act, when it comes to all these things, these are the laws of the nation. You have to abide with the laws of the nation. You cannot infringe upon rights of people. You cannot infringe upon the laws which are existing in the country. That's where you're crossing, is where government wants to intervene, is where the court wants to intervene. And that's what I think that today's discussion is all about. Not on the not on the part of that whether they can change their policy or not. Nobody's asking that you cannot change your policy. But if your changing of your policy is at the stage where you're abusing your dominance position, is where the court is intervening, is what all about the CCI Act was all about, that you're abusing your dominance position when it comes to sharing of the data among your sister or other group companies. That's where the problem is arising, that when it comes to sharing of the data among the group companies where you are holding as a dominant position, is where the problem comes is. Now, the second question that comes out is whether who's forcing you to be part of it. No, nobody's forcing. I was part of it. Now, as a country or as a company, if you're existing in a country, you have to abide. If you're not abiding, it's not about you and me questioning. It's about the government questioning. It's about the court questioning, which is there to protect the rights of the country, which is there to protect the laws of the nation or implement the laws of the nation. And I think that's where the question is coming in, that whether any laws of the nation are being infringed upon, or any rights of the individual are being infringed upon. And that's where we expect government, we expect court to intervene and act upon it, because we don't expect individuals like you and me at every stage. We do have, but every stage to come and read.
Sure. Okay. Nikhil and Pratishtha, quick comments, and then I want to move to solutions. Nikhil and then
very, very quick comment. I don't know where WhatsApp violates the Data Protection Act when it
Act is yet.
when it made this. Let me finish this, please. I don't know where it violates the DPDPA because the DPDPA hasn't yet been
my
enforced.
Right to privacy, which is a fundamental.
May I please finish?
That's a
No. You said
one by one. Please. My request.
Interrupting me.
We won't make this into a television debate. So one by one, please. Nikhil.
Let me speak. Right, WhatsApp doesn't violate the DPDPA. DPDPA hasn't yet been enforced. It's another year and a half to go. Second, from a fundamental right to privacy applies to the government, not to private companies. So there's no violation of fundamental right to privacy. It can only be a violation of DPDPA, and that's not yet enforced. Number one. Number two, I don't want to mix privacy issues with antitrust issues, because the abuse of dominance for sharing of data amongst group companies is a valid concern, and the CCA and the CCI has fined them. That must take its own course. But I also want to point out that Google search is free for us, because Google serves advertising based on data that it collects about us when we use search, when we use Gmail. Then the same, Google is also a dominant platform. Then that means that we won't allow Google to also run ads. That means that then Google search will not survive. Let's be realistic about the fact that businesses need to be able to share data in order to monetize. There's no other mechanism for monetization except for subscription and payment. So you want to, if it goes paid, then you'll say people can't afford it. Then what will you do? And this has nothing to do with sovereignty. It has nothing to do with the sovereignty of the country. What does it have to do with sovereignty of the country? Let's not mix these words together and just try and create an argument. Let's take it piece by piece and look at each of them, right?
Pratishtha, please.
Yeah, because technically what is happening, that it's the personal data that is being circulated. Even if I'm getting a spam call, I'm getting a call from any random person who's selling me plots, not even sitting in Delhi or nearby, but selling me plots from far off, right? What is that? My data, my personal data has been shared. My personal phone number has been shared. My personal email has been shared. That I'm getting all these, emails, random emails on my phone or phone calls. So what is this? Wherever I am putting, I'm using my data, right? That is being forced somewhere. That there is a breach over there somewhere, which people are getting access to. So what we are coming to is the fundamental point over here that, it is my fundamental right to even ask for my data where it is being used, where it is being utilized. And majority of people in India don't know where the data is going. We talk to people in tier 2, tier 3 cities. They are completely unaware about, how important it is to preserve your phone number, how important to preserve your these personal information. That is
which is a very valid point, Pratishtha, that you are raising. Now here is where it comes and becomes all about people. Pratishtha, everything is about people. Now, how do you make people aware? Especially in this OTP generation, your phone number is used everywhere.
Totally. People, see, we need to decode these privacy policies into very simple languages. It cannot be written into very high level languages that people are not able to understand. How do we speak of people who are sitting in Bihar? There are divisions over there. How do we speak of people sitting in Delhi? There are divisions over here. Not everybody is capable of understanding how these privacy policies are kind of being structured.
I agree.
My level of understanding with level of understanding of somebody who's from a dropout school will have a very different perceptions. We are not able to communicate to the fact that these needs to be simplified. How the companies are even prospecting to utilize this data needs to be kind of shared. That needs to be talked about. It cannot be just as a promotional message. When 1930 or when big tech companies are putting out, this is what is happening on front pages of newspapers. This is the new feature coming in. This is happening. We also need to tell about what are these privacy policies. How can your data be utilized? How it can be shared? That needs to be shared. That needs to be talked about.
I get your point. Let's now move to the last part of this discussion, and one by one, all three of you can weigh in.
Let me just give me three-liner response to it. Just
please, quickly.
Okay, so my point over here was very clear that when it comes to digital sovereignty and fundamental right to privacy, which is there in your Article 21, when you talk about Meta, using private metadata, that is a chat or interaction between you and me in the WhatsApp, this chat is funneled into a larger ecosystem. It is effectively breaking into a privacy seal of a personal chat of a person, which is a direct infringement of my fundamental right, which is an enforceable right now. I don't have to wait for any other law over here. And when it comes to the second part of it, which is your CCI, I think we can have a separate discussion on it.
Okay, now to all three of you, let's discuss solutions, because at the end of the day, this is about people. Now, what I feel after listening to all you learned people is that there is a desperate need for a good competitive alternative. The more players there will be, people will have a wider choice. But the bigger problem here, especially in personal communication, is that you can't get a Signal app, Nikhil, to talk to someone who has a WhatsApp, or WhatsApp, Signal and Telegram to talk to one another. That is not possible. So if you want to communicate, two people have to have WhatsApp only on the phone, or Signal or Telegram. Do you feel that going forward in this golden age of technology, we can perhaps devise a method where you can have cross-platform communication? After all, there was BlackBerry Messenger, which was only for BlackBerry. And then came WhatsApp, which you could operate on your Nokia also, on Android also, on iOS also.
So are you asking me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so look, the XMPP protocol has existed now for almost 25 years. So across platform messaging, the ability has been there, and people have built messaging applications to enable that. I have used them at least for 10 years before I switched primarily to WhatsApp and Telegram and Signal. So it's not that the technology doesn't exist. I just don't see why a company can be forced to adopt a technology is the only issue that I have over here. There are mechanisms. My primary requirement from WhatsApp right now is that they need to come clean on whether, and they need to make their technology available for audit by cybersecurity researchers to see whether the Open Signal protocol is actually operational or not, and whether WhatsApp employees can access chats or not. That's the proof that we need, not the legal proof, but the technical proof over here. Because that's the primary violation that I would see of privacy, not in terms of metadata, not in terms of, I frankly disagree. A fundamental right applies to and doesn't apply to companies. A fundamental right applies to government. So you can't expect a company to abide by a fundamental right to privacy sort of requirement. That you can take to court against a government, not against a company. The DPDPA needs to be operational, which is government hasn't. By the time it becomes operational, it will be 10 years since the right to privacy judgment. And that's ridiculously poor lawmaking and lazy lawmaking from this government, as far as I can see. I do agree that privacy policies need to be easier to understand. The DPDPA tries to address some of it, and in multiple languages as well. The GDPR does it better with explainability. And I want to see that explainability come in. I wish more people understand what they were signing up for. But like I said earlier, you can't expect that companies will stick to one particular policy because it's an ongoing service, not a product. They can change their service provisioning because it's service. And so then you have a right to choose whether you want it or not. You're not forced to adopt the platform. You are on it by choice.
Okay. Pratishtha and then Khushbu. Pratishtha, the question that I had was the crying need for greater, better alternatives. I do know that the government was working on a prototype which has not seen the light of the day. So it never kicked off. So do you feel that in this country, and many countries have done it, we do have government-backed initiatives of communication. So do you feel that this can be a big push can be done from India as an alternative to WhatsApp?
Of course, India also got some Indian, telecommunication messaging apps as well. But then it is more about how and where our dependency is growing, right? The fact that, the messaging, the decoding of these terms needs to be kind of clearly decoded, like end-to-end encryption. What does it mean? right? How is your data being protected? How is your data being used? That needs to clear out come as messages from these big tech companies as well, be it WhatsApp, be it Meta, be it Telegram, be it any other platform. It needs to come out, and these popular and these critical features also needs to be discussed in public dialogues, right? We cannot just sit back and talk about safety at the moment, because safety has been an ongoing conversation. But now, how data is being used, how data is being protected, these conversations needs to come out. And since DPDPA is 1.5 years again to be kind of, we're still waiting for that time to come when it will be enacted. But the fact that 18 months time is a good time for people to make, awareness about that, how this is going to be implemented in everybody's user's life. 18 months, government, everybody as a complete stakeholder group being responsible can come together to make aware about the population of India, who is largely dependent upon the communication applications like WhatsApp. We can do that.
I think both you and Nikhil are making a fantastic point, which I think nobody will be in disagreement with, that WhatsApp needs to come clean on technical proof of claims of encryption. Can you don't make it open for the public, but at least someone the public trusts. Maybe in India, they can sit with the government. They can perhaps, the government can select that these people, please convince them, so that we are convinced that your encryption is working. Can this be done?
It needs to be slipped into the trusted sources, like, how people are trusting upon each other in small towns and communities as well, that, how this is being functional. It can be easily slipped in, but we need, of course, the trusted sources. We need to come as a collective unit when we're talking about the protection, data, and privacy of individuals in India. It needs to be a collective effort. We need to also invest financially to kind of make these people aware, be it in a printed form, right? Making it a forced, because we don't talk about, proactive measures. We become more reactive when something happens. So we cannot be just waiting for something to go wrong and then become more reactive. So that can be easily slipped in, but
Sure.
if we work very collectively. Yeah.
So Khushbu, last comment. See, the thing is, big tech companies will exploit your data because that is the nature of the business. They will do it. Everybody is doing it. It operates on the give and take of data, right? This is how they will make money. They will sell you ads, but the claims that are being made, you see, data sharing, the terms and conditions of that data sharing, and then data breach, where you are in breach of an agreement which you have arrived upon with your consumer. These are the different areas where we need to be clear about.
Absolutely. See, the consent must be a choice, not a ransom. I'll repeat that word again. Consent must be a choice, not a ransom. So I would suggest that there should be a standalone. Absolutely, I'm in agreement with you that one cannot ignore when it comes to a company wanting their business needs. They cannot go bankrupt or they cannot go insolvent just for the public good. No, that's not the option that they come on business. But when it comes to the primary solutions, it can be a standalone opt-out button which allows users to reject the policy without losing access to their chat. Number one. Number two, the Section 4 of the Competition Act, it says that which recognizes that privacy is an aspect. Privacy policy is an aspect of service quality. There, where dominant players cannot lower the quality to entrench into their market position. Number three, monetization without any kind of exploitation. That means you can have a business API of WhatsApp, which has a robust multi-billion-dollar revenue stream, and you can continue with that, but that does not require you to harvest into a private user data that is chat between you and me. Number four, when it comes to vulnerable, is where last mile user, that is you, me, a street vendor or a rural citizen who cannot decipher into that 20-page, 30-page or even a 5-pager privacy policy, which even I cannot understand as a lawyer with so many provisos, is where you take a granular consent from a person. That means what data are you taking of mine, for what purpose are you taking that data for, and with whom you're going to share my data with whom cannot be the group companies. It has to be with whom. there has to be a person who or a legal entity with whom you're sharing my data. These three things should be clearly put across, and there should be an option of opt out into it. Option as in a compulsory option of opt out, which means that if I'm opting out from not sharing my data with these companies for these purpose, you should not deny me the services of providing me that messaging services. This is the
Again.
Otherwise, you're forcing upon.
Well, as Nikhil said, WhatsApp isn't running missionaries of charity.
Then you
how will you expect them to do this? My point is there has to be a strong alternative.
Have an advertisement which can be an advertisement pop-up which comes across, and I can use it the way YouTube uses it. But that doesn't use my personal chat. That doesn't read my personal chat.
I think what is desperately required is a sort of a premium service. Those who must avail, because frankly, I'm really, really sick of those ads.
Sanket, what is required is a data protection law that's meant to be a data protection law. Today, India's data protection law that's going to be enforced a year and a half from now is not worth the paper that it is printed on. It does not give us privacy. It does not give us protections. I mean, one major part of it is publicly available personal data. So if you put up your photograph on social media, that is outside the ambit of the data protection law, which means AI companies can scrape your photo. Anyone can. That is how useless our data protection law is, and that's the problem. What Khushbu is saying right now are things that should be in the data protection law, but our government failed to do this. That's the problem.
We'll hold them to account. One will ask questions of WhatsApp, one will also ask questions of the government, and we'll see how this takes up or how this shapes up in the Supreme Court in the next hearing. But thank you very much to the three of you for joining us on this discussion. Let's hope that people are able to be more aware of what their rights are before they sign in for this service. Thank you.